Mr. President, I'm grateful to the Chairman and Ranking Member for their work on this critical bill. I'm happy to be joined by Senators Lugar and Reid in introducing an amendment to ensure the civilians deployed to Afghanistan receive training that cultivates greater civilian-military unity of mission and emphasizes the importance of counterinsurgency and stability operations. Last month, I had the distinct privilege of traveling with Senator Reid to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq to visit our troops and assess regional developments and challenges. During the trip, it was abundantly clear that we must build greater unity of mission between civilians and military in order to meet our growing needs in the region. In Iraq and Afghanistan, we are engaged in a four-stage process of fighting insurgency by 1, shaping the environment, 2, clearing insurgents with military power, 3, holding the area with effective security forces and police, and 4, building through a combination of governance and economic development. As we increase our military commitment and civilian capacity in Afghanistan, we must ensure that all U.S. personnel have the tools they need to succeed in this increasingly difficult mission. In addition to sending 21,000 additional troops and trainers to Afghanistan, President Obama recently announced that we'll be sending hundreds of civilians from the State Department, USAID, and other agencies to partner with the Afghan people and government in promoting economic development and governance. These civilians will continue to work in tandem with the military in stabilizing Afghanistan and should therefore train in tandem to prepare for their deployment. When surveyed, civilians serving in Afghanistan have confirmed that joint training with the military was their single most effective preparation. This sentiment underscores the urgency of this amendment and highlights the critical need for increased joint training so we can meet current and future needs in Afghanistan. Integrated training, specifically for military and non-military personnel participating in provincial reconstruction teams, is ongoing. And the next course will be held later this month at Camp Atterbury in Indiana. Still, this training will include only about 25 non-military personnel from state and USAID, and it's not scheduled to recommence for 9 months, after many of our brave men and women have already left for the region. Especially given the increased need, this 9-month training cycle is woefully inadequate. We do not have 9 months to wait, and we should not risk sending civilians to Afghanistan without training they need to be safe, secure, and effective. We must therefore increase the frequency of training programs, such as the one at Camp Atterbury. We also must ensure this training includes a greater focus on counterinsurgency and stability operations. The military challenges we're facing today are unlike conventional wars of the past. I strongly agree with the assessment of leading defense experts that we must better prepare to win the wars we are in as opposed to those we may wish to be in. According to Secretary Gates, this will require, quote, a holistic assessment of capabilities, requirements, risks, and needs, unquote, which will entail, among other things, a rebalancing of our defense budget. This also includes changing the way we prepare U.S. personnel for their mission, as reflected in the creation of the Counterinsurgency Academy in Kabul, where more civilians should train in greater numbers with military once they are in Afghanistan. An increased focus on counterinsurgency reflects the fact that we must undergo a military rebalancing to be better prepared to face an asymmetrical threat. Thanks to the leadership, vision, and integrity of Secretary Gates, General Petraeus, and others, we have moved in that direction, and we must continue along that path. That is why I strongly support this supplemental, which contains increased funding for mine resistance, ambush, protected vehicles, or MRAPs, and other equipment to counter unconventional threats like improvised explosive devices. Such equipment is critical to advancing our security goals in Afghanistan and Iraq. But most importantly, it provides needed defenses for our troops so that we can keep our brave men and women out of harm's way in Iraq and Afghanistan. It is in the same vein that we must also take every opportunity to prepare our civilians better. Increased civilian military training focused on counterinsurgency and stability operations is essential to meeting this goal. And that is why I urge my colleagues to join Senator Lugar, Reid, and me in supporting this amendment. Mr. President, I appreciate the Chairman's assistance and the Ranking Member's assistance on this amendment, as well as the guidance I've received from Senator Leahy.